All right, this is the second part of the 2.08 Read Aloud for U.S. History, starting with new state governments. Despite the problems of the Articles of Confederation, in the period between 1777 and 1787, Americans did learn some valuable lessons about self-government. The states tackled the task of creating Republican governments. Indeed, as John Jay put it, the recently independent Americans were the first people whom heaven has favored with an opportunity of deliberating upon and choosing forms of government under which they should live. Jay's reference to the plural forms of government was appropriate. In the decade following the Declaration of Independence, each of the 13 states designed its own constitution and form of government. Among the variety of experiments, there were some important common features. The states were reluctant to put much power in the hands of a governor or other central authority. In their recent struggle against Britain, Americans had come to see strong executive authority as embodied in the king as the greatest threat to liberty. As colonists, the Americans had learned through hard experience that a powerful governor, often appointed by the crown, could stand in the way of laws that the elected assembly wished to pass. Not surprisingly, then, the new state constitutions placed most power in the hands of elected legislatures. These legislatures assumed the major responsibility for raising taxes, writing laws, and governing society. Most state legislatures also took away the governor's power to issue judicial decisions, and instead created a strong independent court system free of governor's interference. Most of the new state constitutions tried to preserve the form of a mixed government. Following English tradition and the theories of the French philosopher Montesquieu, they distributed power among different branches of government. Montesquieu, a leading figure of the Enlightenment, had published The Spirit of Laws in 1748. These Americans who wrote the state constitutions were all well versed in Montesquieu's argument that the best way let me get to the top here. The best way to protect liberty was to separate a government's powers into three branches: a legislative branch, the lawmaking part; an executive branch, the law enforcing part; and a judicial branch, the courts. With power divided among the three branches, Montesquieu explained, no single part could become too powerful. As the states organized their governments with power divided among different branches, some wondered whether there was any real need to divide the legislative branch into an upper and lower house. In England, where divisions between the social classes were deep and long-standing, Parliament was divided into the House of Lords, made up of noblemen and aristocrats, and the House of Commons. But did such a division make sense in the new American Republic? As one group of Marylanders put it, it cannot be questioned that both branches of our legislature are the representatives and trustees of the people. Legislatures in Ben Franklin's home state, Pennsylvania, argued that since there was no aristocracy in America, there was no reason to divide Congress into two houses. Accordingly, Pennsylvania set up a legislative body with a single house. Most states, however, held fast to the bicameral form. And we'll stop here and go back to the online course. So we're finished with one page. We'll leave the second part there to the next lesson. And then we have to go on to look at the other parts of today's lesson. Governing the new republic presented many challenges. The Articles of Confederation guided the young states as they fought the Revolutionary War and negotiated a favorable peace treaty. But the republic soon confronted many serious problems. The states were not united. By 1787, Americans were ready to change the way the country was governed. After you have completed the reading assignment, view Northwest Ordinance and complete the Articles of Confederation activity. So here's the Northwest Ordinance activity. Just make sure you read through it, follow the directions, and keep going with that to review. And there's Articles of Confederation activity, where you have to answer some questions. Not a graded quiz, just for review and practice. And then we said that we're not doing this graded assignment, so you can skip over that. And that should be it. Then we're on to the next lesson, 209. So that's all for the second part of the 2.08 lesson. Good luck on completing everything and moving on to the next part.